Welcome to the In My Opinion show with Ronald Barry Robinson and friends. Seen on the internet 24 hours, 7 days a week. This show is also seen on Flint, Michigan, Comcast Cable Channel 17 every Saturday at 6 p.m. and every Wednesday at 8:30. The In My Opinion show is also seen on Detroit, Michigan, Comcast Cable Channel 68 7 days a week at various times. Please consult your community calendar. I want to thank our guests. We have Mr. Edward Coleman and Mr. Joe Gibbons. Welcome both to the In My Opinion show.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about a number of issues. All right. These two gentlemen have a combined history of being incarcerated. And we're going to talk about the evils associated that positions somebody to be incarcerated. And then we're going to talk about the transition, okay, from thug to responsible citizen. Which one of you gentlemen would like to lead off?
Well, I like to run my mouth a lot, so maybe I'll probably be the first one.
Okay, then go ahead. Joe Gibbons.
Yes, it's a blessing to be here, and I'd like to give all praise due to God, because without him I wouldn't be here today. And I'd like to thank the host, the Barry Robinson. And I don't want to play games with your minds like a lot of people have played with young people, and that's why a lot of young people don't react to a lot of people today. That's why they hang out and they do what they do, and a lot of things that they doing in life is not right, and it's causing them all type of problems. You know, I was one that was young at that age of 15, 16, or even younger. Thought I was a slick Rick and thought I could beat the system, thought I could do everything in crime, and found out that I ended up in juvenile homes at an early age, not at 14 or 15, but 12 and 13, and ended up getting in all type of trouble. And trouble was just in my way, and so I stayed in a lot of trouble. And my purpose here today is to talk to some young people and let them know that from that starting off, many times we don't know the purpose of a thing. And when we don't know the purpose of a thing, we abuse it. We all have a purpose. The flowers, the trees, the animals, everything was created with a purpose, and everything is excellent. But somewhere down the road, young people don't understand what their purpose is. See, you have a purpose to be greater than somebody slick on the street. You got a purpose to be greater than some drug addict or some armed robber or some rapist or some whatever you want to call yourself, and you think it's slick. It's nothing slick about it. A lot of times we don't understand our purpose because when we're young, it's always an uncle somebody or aunt somebody giving us a little beer and starting us off on the wrong path. And I think that's what happened in my life. I got started on the wrong track. And when elder people give you things like that, we don't have the knowledge of ourselves to turn it down. And what happens is it increases, and as it increases and stuff, it increases our foolishness. And that's what happened to me at a young age. And that's why I'm here to tell you young people, you're going to have to stop all this type of behavior. Yes, you want money. Yes, you want the beautiful things in life. Yes, you want all that. You can have all that, but you will have nothing if you continue on following the enemy's footsteps. You will be in prison like I landed in prison. It started off small, juvenile homes and all that. But then I ended up getting sentenced to 30 to 50 years. And then this thing got a little deeper, and I'm like, what's going on? Well, you're going to ask yourself what's going on too. If you end up in prison 30 years.
What was your thought when the judge sentenced you to 30 to 50 years?
Man, I almost went crazy. I went in there, the judge told me, He said, first of all, he said, you're not a bad person, but you've been with the wrong type of people. This is what I want to get across to you young people. You can be with the wrong people. You can be the nicest guy, you know, out there, trying to help people, do good things, you know, but you around bad people that's doing bad things, well, your association going to get you just as much time. And my thoughts was like, I ain't going to never get out of this place. You know, I couldn't even believe that I was sitting in prison for 30 years. You know, I didn't have no clue of what was going to happen in my life, period. And I mean, was I scared? Yeah, you scared. You know, I mean, you cry if you're sitting in the county jail and don't know when you're going to get out. So you know if you're scared, you got 30 years. So I had some adjustments to make. And some of those adjustments was, when I got in prison, I said, well, I hadn't changed. I still had, young people don't know about comp and stuff like that and processed hairdos. And we thought we were pimps and players and we, you know, playing the girls. So, you know, we thought all that. I didn't have a clue that I had to get all my hair cut off. You know, I mean, they started telling me I'm somebody else. Well, when you don't know who you are, then they can tell you anything.
They give you a number.
They give you a number. You get smart, they'll beat you. They go as far as killing you. They don't care. You in somebody else's house. You ain't at mama's house now. You know, all those spoiled days is over. All your guns is taken away from you. All your money is taken away from you. And actually, they want to take your dignity away from you, your manhood away from you. You know, but some of us, God was watching our back. And you have to stand up. You don't have to go to prison. You don't have to go through what I went through. You know, but if you stay in them streets like I did, like some of y'all doing, think it's slick to play these young girls, because, you know, you can take advantage of them. When you taking advantage of your sisters, you taking advantage of yourselves. Yes, you want money. You know, but we have to find better means. If I could talk to the drug dealer today, this is what I would tell him. It's not easy to tell you to put down your drugs when you're taking care of your family and doing things like that. But I'm saying that we can give you something greater than drugs that you will accept and you will respect and you will want to put them drugs down. Because when you feed your community drugs, you're not just killing them people that you feed, you're killing yourself as well. And that's another leeway to prison, brother. You know, and there's nothing slick about driving a brand new car. There's nothing slick about wearing a brand new suit. There's nothing slick about having a whole lot of money. There's nothing slick about that. You got to learn who you are. See, we was all shaped into some of everything. Shaped in the drug dealers, shaped in the homosexual, shaped in the robbers, shaped in the thieves. We were shaped in some of everything. And sometimes when you shaped into something, it's hard to make a change because change is not easy when you've been shaped into something. So the greatest thing I want to get across to younger people, some of you old ones are still trying to be young and still don't know who you are. But my message to you, brothers and sisters, is that we got to stop this violence and increase this peace, man. We got to come together. You know, one thing we have to learn how to talk to one another. It's a dialogue in the black community going on, punk, thug, hoe, bitch, all these type of names. This don't describe us as a people. This is tearing us down as a people. Yes, prison is crazy. Yes, you think it's easy. You're going to have to fight when you get through the door. And if you don't, you might be a homosexual. You might be anything when they get through with you.
Oh, Mr. Coleman, if you would, could we hear your story?
All right. My name is Edward Coleman. I'm truly glad that I was allowed to come in and share some of my experience, strength, and hope. You know, I'm not necessarily speaking to any particular people, but the people that want to live like I lived before turning my life around. Not knowing how gradual and subtle the addiction process is. You know, starting to go to parties where you're given drinks and you're given marijuana and you're given different things. it starts gradually and slowly. You know, my belief system, my morals and values were lowered. I come from a good family. My father was a pastor. My mother was a born again Christian, and it was instilled in me a lot of values and principles, and I can remember having so much pride and dignity. But as I started to experiment with different chemicals, those things, values and morals, were slowly lowered. And I would just like to say to people that maybe be experimenting with those things, that the consequences of that, not only in your life, but this is a family disease, and it does affect the whole family. And it's things that we need to do to pull ourselves out of that. As Joe talked about, the end result of that. You know, I've been knowing Joe for over half his life. And, you know, we don't see these things coming. We think, well, we're going to have a little fun. And that little fun ends up at the end of that road as being somewhere that you don't want to be. You know, drugs and chemicals and that lifestyle takes you some places that you don't want to be. Cemeteries, lawyer's office, jails, institutions. In my case, I had several runs in with the law, which I was a young man that was baptized believer and was in the church, and slowly I gravitated to a subculture. Subculture meaning it's certain things that we communicate with, and that's the lifestyle of using people and being used in the process. Because when you think you playing on somebody else, thinking you're a player, you're going to get played. That's part of the game. And so mine stopped after 3 felonies, convictions. And my last one being on 5 years paper, and my probation officer telling me, I'm not going to send you back in front of the judge because they wanted to give me 7.5 to 10. So rather than do that, my PO sent me to a treatment center. And there I stayed for a year. You know, we have to go places sometimes that we don't want to go and stay in order to change our playgrounds and our playmates. So I went there and stayed a year. While there, things started to come to. In other words, sometimes we have to stop using the chemicals so we can have a clear mindset. You know, we be caught up in wearing so many different masks as we do in the lifestyle that, like Joe said, we don't even know who we are. We lose our identity. And there I started to be restored to some sanity, to say. You know, it was a time that I carried guns and communicated with drugs in that scene. And I was seamless in a hopeless situation. But we do have people that care about you. And today I'm on that battlefield to help anyone that don't want to be in that lifestyle. And that's why I'm sharing my story here today, that you don't have to stay there.
Well, how do you go about sharing your experience so that people don't have to live that negative lifestyle?
First of all, you have to accept that you got a problem. Until you realize that you've got a problem and that you need help with it, you have to surrender. In other words, it's places that you can go to get help. Sometimes you have to get away from Pookie and Ray them and try to do something about your problem. They may not have the same goals and expectations that you do. You know, I've seen people turn their lives around, and I'm one of them, so I know it can be done.
Can I ask you, what do you do now?
Today I'm, for my own life, I think that I'm a total man. I'm the best grandfather that I can be, the best father that I can be, the best sibling as far as in my family, in my community. I work now and has worked for 22 years as a substance abuse therapy. When I went into treatment, I came back and I started working at the treatment center. and I worked my way up through the ranks until I became the clinical director of that program. And today, I'm a threat to the disease rather than being a guinea pig. And I know that what I can do, if I can do it, you can do it, because I was a bad person in that lifestyle. So I'm giving you just a little bit of hope. If you hear a little bit of my story, which, you know, I've been shot in the lifestyle and spared, because the only reason I'm still here is for the grace of God. And evidently God walked through those situations with me because he knew that he had some work for me. So today I'm a drug therapist. I work at an agency where we house 150 people with disorders like I had, and I still go to meetings. I'm currently the president of my choir at my church. I'm on the deacon board. I do the van ministry. I pick people up to take to church. I was told something that said that something so freely given to you, you must give it away in order to keep it. And today that's what I'm doing.
That's so wonderful. That's wonderful. That's so wonderful. Joe Gibbons, what made you change your negative behavior?
Wow, that's a big question for me, because I wasn't ready to change for nobody. You know, I had to hit my head I don't know how many times. Even when I got to prison, I hadn't changed. I still thought I could smoke a little reefer or marijuana, you call it. But most of y'all love it today, which is nothing but a headache. I still try to drink a little wine. They call it spudge juice in prison. And we get caught with it, you know what I'm saying? And we try to bag it up and put it in our cells. Cells is where you live at. And so somebody offered me a marijuana stick the last time. I told them I'm done with that. I said, I want to make some changes in my life. And I started going to every type of religious service it was. It didn't matter what service it was. See, I didn't cry like many of you cried and put labels and titles on who you are. I'm this, I'm Christian, I'm Muslim, I'm Jew. You know, God worked with all of us. We all one family. So I went to Jehovah's Witness services, Islamic services, every kind of service they had. We Stand, Sincere program, everything they had, I wanted it. And by me wanting that, I had a desire in my heart to be a better person. And that's what a lot of you brothers and sisters got to realize. It's good in everybody. You may do bad things. It don't make you a bad person. But you got to have a desire one day to lay it down, put that foolishness down out there. Everybody talking about to stop this violence and all this stuff. Yes, we want to stop it. See, we know where it started from. See, we need some good aunties and good mothers and good uncles and good fathers and stuff. Stop doing things in front of your children. Then you at the club partying all night long. The children had already seen you drunk before you got to the club. They'd already seen you using drugs. They seen you shaking your booty. They seen all these bad things that you was doing in front of them. And then when they do it, then you want to beat them down like they crazy or something. You being a bad example to your children. And I say that openly, wholeheartedly, that I'm not afraid to say that, because one thing we bowing down in this country, and that's why this country is all messed up now. That's why black communities or other communities, it's a human problem. Humanity have failed, if you want to know the truth about it. So what made me change was I was tired. Change would not come because you got all that change in your pocket, or you got a lot of money and you riding down the street trying to show everybody what you got. That is not change. Most of the time, that's foolishness. You're probably driving in your sister, your mother car, and or father car. I'm just going to tell you, brother, because y'all used to rough talk. But the talk I'm talking is rough, but it's in love. See, you got to have love in your heart, man. You got to set aside all that foolishness if you want to make yourself a better person. And prison, when I came home, I wasn't trying to throw paper on the sidewalk. I was just tired. But let me tell you something. I struggle with that. I'm not Mr. Perfect standing here talking to you. You know, I had to pass by liquor. I had to pass by marijuana. I had to pass by a lot of stuff. And I still made some mistakes on this journey. And still will make them. But make them less. Make some different mistakes and not the same ones. Be a better person. You know, because prison, let me tell you something. Man, I was walking around prison. They had guards stand on top of buildings with guns that will shoot you in 5 seconds. You can come out to go to the eat your food in the morning. It's dark time. People stabbing one another. You know, you hear ambulance cars flying all through that prison. People walk in there, you can't even eat because nasty stuff is all in your food. Birds flying. People getting stabbed right there while you eating your food. You just didn't know what turn to make. Then they send you to another prison, just as worse as the one you could come from. You can't win in no prison. But some of y'all are so hard-headed to think you can beat life and beat the streets. Well, some of y'all may see death row. And death row may be good for some of you because it may wake you up right then. See, so you're going to have to come on clean, brothers and sisters. You know, because we fighting not physically. We ain't wrestling against flesh and blood, but principalities. They up there on the high level. That's why they chasing our president down. They chase Malcolm X down. They chase Farrakhan down. They chase all great leaders down. Because they don't want us to have civilization. How can the uncivilized teach the civilized? We are wrestling with a system and a government. Sure, there's good people in the government. Sure, there's good police officers. Sure, there's good doctors and lawyers and stuff like that. But who's the head of it? You ain't controlling nothing in your community. The doctors ain't controlling nothing. The lawyers ain't controlling nothing. If I go get a good lawyer, you get a good lawyer to defend your case. He can't defend his own case. Because he ain't in control of anything. Somebody else got control over him. So you don't win in this system until you change your thinking. And that's what wise people respect. That's what government respect. They respect you when you stand up and face power. Speak out against power. Don't bow down. Stand up and let them know that you're not afraid to stand on truth. Jesus said the truth will make you free. He didn't run around scared with his pants down, running around there stealing from somebody, beating old women down, and all those type of things. There was no history of Jesus doing nothing like that. You say you love Malcolm X, but Malcolm didn't take the alcohol, he didn't take the drugs. You know, how can you represent somebody, you know what I'm saying, and misrepresent them? You didn't really love Malcolm or you would have stopped. Malcolm was a disciplined man. Farrakhan is a disciplined man. Many people are disciplined. And if you're not striving for discipline, whether you're a pastor or whoever you might be, you know, then you tearing down our communities. You know, some of y'all some prison is not just physically being locked up. Prison is a state of mind. And that's what they got. Most of us is in prison today because our minds are locked up. And as long as you continue to fear man, you'll never make a change in this world.
Well, I'd like to say I want to thank Mr. Edward Coleman and Mr. Joe Gibbons for appearing on the In My Opinion show. I know it must have been difficult for them to, you know, and brought back memories of that negative experience that, you know, that both had. But in closing, you know, I want to say, you know, drug addiction and violence is not just a black problem or white problem. It's a national problem. Okay, so stay away from it and stay away from the losers out there, all right? And make your positive mark, you know, in our world, all right? Get that education, okay? Get out and vote, all right? Each and every time an opportunity that you get out there and do and vote, all right? At this time, I must bring the show to a close, but I want to thank my guests, Mr. Edward Coleman and Mr. Joe Gibbons, and my excellent engineers for making this show possible. So until next time, this is Ronald Berry Robinson and friends saying, stay focused.